Ah, I see. See? All right, so over here, this is our aggressive snapshot. So I'm showing you the stuff that's as of March 31st, 2017, and this is showing starting 2005. So I like to point out a few things here. If you look at the last 3 months, which is January till March, we're 6.69% return. 1 year, which is basically March 2016 till March 2017, 15.63% return. And this is net after our fees taken out. Okay. 3 years, 6.5, 9 years, 9.5, 10 years, 5.6. Now 10 years, why might anyone understand why this is down? Because we also included 2008 in there, so you got to keep that in mind. And as you can see, the worst return, I like to show best case, worst case. Worst case, we were down 24.9% on our aggressive in 2008. You know how much the markets were down? 40-50%. So we did bad. It does affect us, but it's not as bad as the market. And this is aggressive. You got to keep in mind. You know, so this kind of gives you an idea of how we've done on the aggressive side. And how do I screen from back here? Do you know how to?
Oh yeah, just click
right
the
there.
top and drag it. Yeah.
Okay.
See, top of that window. Yeah, there you go.
So this is our income. So this is to give you an idea for the ones who are very conservative. They want, this is an alternative to keeping your money in a savings account, for example. Our 3-year return, 5.11%. So this is, what do you get when you leave your money in a savings account currently?
Like 1%.
I think 1 is overstating.
Yeah.
But you understand what I'm trying to say. For March of last year till March of this year, how much is that? 10.5%.
That's pretty good.
This is gonna, you see, it's designed to not beat the market, but it's designed to be stable. That's what this portfolio is meant. That's why it's called income, the most stable portfolio. Last year, we were at, actually last year from January till December was 7.76%. So the target for this strategy is 4 to 6%. Okay. And then I like to show moderate because, some people are not going to be very aggressive. They're going to be, how do I check it? Okay, well, you can see what I'm trying to show anyways. So 5-year return 8.44%. 1 year from March of last year to March of this year, 12.26. Last 3 months, 4.28%. The worst performance here, if you look at a 1 year, negative 6% is the worst we've done. The best, 23%. So, like I said, investing is not about the short term. You got to keep a long-term view. That's what I'm always emphasizing. Yes, question?
So for accounts like these, like the very secure income one, where it just kind of flows along with the market, is there a fee to maintain an account like that?
So we charge a management fee to manage your portfolio. And as I mentioned, we are fee only, so that means it's based on the assets we're managing. Excuse me, anything below $500,000 is typically 1.5%.
Of whatever's in the account.
Of whatever's in the account. And this returns, as I quoted you, are net of fees basically, which means it's after our management fee is taken out. So I don't know how that works, but we'll just leave it there.
You can. Oh, sorry.
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 So basically, if whatever you're paying us is 1.5% of the total you're managing. If you have over 500,000, it's 1.2 over a million, 1%. Get the picture.
So to start an account like that, is it like we give you a lump sum investment and then it's invested, or is it something you pay into monthly? How does that generally work?
So there are two programs, paths that we have. One is our Sharia Portfolio Access program, and then we have a Sharia Portfolio Express program. Okay? So access, like the word suggests, means you're working with me one-on-one as an advisor. You have a dedicated client services representative. You get access to alternative assets, so we can do some alternative assets besides the stock market, and I can discuss that one-on-one with whoever's interested. We can get into IPOs. IPOs means if a company is going public and you want to get access to some of that, that is accessible through the Access program. And that's where the minimum is about $100,000. Okay? Now, we also have an Express program. Express, as it suggests, means quick. You can go online, open an account, fund it, everything done electronically. You don't work one-on-one with an advisor, but your money is still being managed by us. So you open the account, it's designed specifically for those who have less than the 100,000. You know, in generally, especially those below 25,000, I highly recommend to stick to do, at least you get the benefit of investing in the halal way through the Express program, where you get access to all the Sharia compliant mutual funds, for example, where you get Amana, Iman, and you know, to give you a quick idea, in there you can see what we're investing in. You know, we hold some cash right now. Why do you think we might be holding cash? So in 2007, what happened? Market was here,
Right,
and then what happened?
It dropped.
Boom. We're sitting at something like that this year. So that's why we're being a bit conservative by holding a little bit of cash, which means if the drop happens, I can go shopping. So that's the reason for the cash. But look at what we're investing in. We have Azad funds, Amana funds. We have Kalmain, for example, is an egg producer, sells eggs around the country. We have Intel, is a company that's, you know, in the technology space.
So Intel is a Sharia compliance now?
According to the Sharia guidelines, it's considered acceptable. But if you decide from your own personal standpoint that, okay, I don't want this company, I can customize a portfolio by excluding it.
Right.
And that's why these returns are for those who are following the standard model.
Right.
D.R. Horton is a company that is in the building manufacturing business. Gilead is a pharmaceutical company. So just to give an idea, we have concentrated, each portfolio typically has about 15 or 20 positions. This shows the other ones. There's also some gold. We recently bought gold, and guess why we would buy gold? Gold is
Most reliable.
gold is considered for safety. If market goes down, people are going to go towards safety, which is something like gold. So because we are predicting, like I said, about 7 to 15% to market correction this year. Not to scare anyone, because as I told you, if you look at 1950 to 2015, it looks like this. So, but just that's one of the reasons Eli Lilly is a pharmaceutical company. So, you know, we build custom portfolios. We utilize these things to make a well-rounded portfolio. We make sure we're looking at the sector allocation. This is, you know, this is the geeky stuff that we work on the behind the scenes. But just to give you an idea as to what we're doing, you know, this is kind of how we design the portfolio. So, any other questions?
How do you, so let's say there's a group of people who actually want to work together
Yes.
to do investment. How do you handle that or manage that? So let's say they're coming together and pooling their resources to come in with, let's say, 50 grand or something like that. How do you generally manage that?
So typically to deal with an organization or like individuals' money, because of regulatory reasons, we cannot invest a pool of money for different people in one account unless it's part of an organization.
Cool. So they would form an
So they
organization.
can form an organization, whether it's for a non-profit or endowment fund, for
Right.
example, or if it's a 401k for a company. We can set up a 401k, by the way, if you're self-employed or if you have a business with a few individuals. We can go ahead and set up a 401k plan where you have access to all of the halal funds. As you saw, we invest in Amana,
Right.
Iman. So it's a win-win. They benefit, we benefit, because we're doing, you know, a good service, inshallah. For them. Any other questions?
I have one more thing.
Yes, go ahead.
So I know you mentioned the Express.
Yes.
Is there and I know you said that that's for below, like anybody who's
Anybody in general below 25K, I would recommend
right.
to consider the Express program.
But is there a minimum for that to enter that?
No, I mean,
Okay.
if you open with $5, I don't know what I can
Right.
do with $5.
Right.
What's a good amount to get started with?
It's you know, before I answer that question, see, as an advisor, I have to understand what's your overall financial picture,
Right.
right? If you tell me I have debt, If you tell me I have different goals to meet, I might tell you a different answer as opposed to somebody who is in a different situation. So everyone's situation is unique, right? So we typically do recommend, we have a questionnaire on our website, shariaportfolio.com. What I would recommend is anyone who wants to set up a discussion or one-on-one, fill out that questionnaire. Just like if I go to the physician's office, they're gonna ask me, do you have high blood pressure, cholesterol, blah, blah, blah. How much, fries have you been eating, burgers, before they say what I need. The same way, I'm gonna have to look at some variables, and then I can say, sister, I think after reviewing this information, I think this is the best course of action that I think you could work for your situation. Does that help answer? But in general, anything that has a small account, the returns generally do not look as impressive as those with a larger account. And that's because if you give me less, I can do less with it. That's just the simplest way to explain it. Hopefully you'll still see a return. I have clients with $5,000 and I have clients with over $1 million. And to me, it's about the service at the end of the day. I want to help each one at their level.
Say someone already has an account, a retirement account set up at work.
Good question. I was talking to him earlier. So this is a good question. I know what you might be asking.
Yeah.
So a 401k or a 403b or a 457 or whatever it might be, simple IRA that they have set up for you at work, many a times they do give you the choice to self-direct. Or in some cases they call it brokerage option. Okay? Self-directed, if you want to take it down, call your Fidelity or whoever and ask them, is there a self-directed or brokerage option for my retirement account? And if there is, then we could potentially serve as the advisors to manage the account, and you're not restricted to the 15 or 20 funds that they give you. And essentially it opens up the opportunity for other stuff to be invested in. And that's where the Sharia compliance comes in as well. Make sense?
Yeah.
But if you do that, can you still participate in your
Yes,
company
you can.
401?
You still
so
get
you can
the,
divert funds
you
into your
divert it
company
into
one and then with another one.
No. You divert funds into a separate account that I, as an advisor, can decide to invest in stuff that is not from those choices. So you can completely be halal, basically, and still get the 4% match or 5% match or whatever it is that the company is giving you. And I'm happy to do a conference call for anyone. You just let me know by email or whatever. And if I have your contact, we can be in touch about this, where basically we can find out a time that works for you, and we can call your Fidelity or Vanguard or whoever is managing the portfolio and find out if the company allows you to self-direct your portfolio.
And would that be determined by your employer in conjunction with?
Exactly. It's an employer by employer consideration.
Okay.
So many employers actually do allow you to self-direct. However, sometimes with public universities or, and I know where that's coming from, it's very hard to get those choices approved. And over time things will hopefully change. But for private, especially, they do listen to their employees. So if they say no, for example, that no, there is no option available, then if enough of you get together and make some noise, then inshallah they can listen to you, and they do. And sometimes you don't have to push as much. They just tell them yeah, and they just make things happen. But I know with government type options or universities or hospitals, 403Bs and this and that, there are some restrictions and they just don't allow it. And in those instances, I've been asked, well, so what am I supposed to do? Well, I'm not going to be the answer complete. I'm not going to give you the right answer because it's upon you at the end of the day, but I will tell you what choices you have. If they're not allowing you to self-direct, then either you can pick the least of the worst options, that's number one, or you can decide not to invest in the company plan and decide to open a different retirement account, but you'll be foregoing the company match if you decide to do it this way. And basically, if you decide to keep the company plan and just pick the least of the worst, if you ever leave that company, you can always roll over into an IRA. So you don't have to be left, you don't have to leave it there. We can roll over into an IRA and then basically start investing in halal. So those are some choices you have.
Can you talk about the educational savings plan and
Sure. So you have the yellow or orange brochure. That one talks about education savings options. How many of you have heard of the 529 plan? Okay, 529 plans are not Sharia compliant because just like a 401k, you have a restriction of choices on what you can invest in, and that's why it's not considered Sharia compliant. You have two halal options for investing for education. One of them is called a Coverdell, which has a limit of about $2,000 per year. That's the maximum you can put into that account, and it's only for college. Okay, so just like a 529 plan, you can only use it for college. However, there is another option which is called a UTMA, Uniform Transfer to Minors account, which is basically a trust account for the benefit of the child. So you could use it for college, you could use it for wedding expenses down the line, or maybe they need to buy a car or something. So you can invest for your children, and this one can be also invested in the Sharia compliant manner. There's no like limit on how much you can invest in this account. You can put in as much as you want, and this is another good option to consider. But again, everyone's situation is unique, so I would have to look at your individual situation before I make a recommendation. Any other questions? This side has been quiet. Well, if there is no other questions, for those who came in later, please do complete the information request forms if you want to follow up one-on-one with us, or if you want to be on our newsletter. I'm going to be accessible if anyone wants to pull me offline for a few minutes and just talk about their stuff. I'm happy to try and answer any personal questions. But I thank you for your time very much. It's been a pleasure coming here. I will be in Pennsylvania till Wednesday. So if you have any buddies or who want to talk or meet up, I'm accessible. On Friday, I'll be back again. On Thursday, I go back to DC. On Friday, I'm back. I'm doing a presentation at Islamic Society of Greater Valley Forge. So that's Friday night. But otherwise, if between now and Wednesday someone wants to meet up, I'm accessible. We can meet up for coffee or something. I'm going to be in Allentown. I'm headed to Allentown. I have some family there, so that's where I usually stay when I come to Pennsylvania. But I drive and meet you at your home or whatever if you want any one-on-one meetings. Sure. All right. So thank you so much. These brochures, whatever you guys want, take, share them with your friends. I'll give a few of my business cards here as well. So please feel free to. Hidayah, you want to pass my business card?
Alright, so we just close it off, inshallah. Shukran everyone for coming out. Thank you, Brother Ali Reza, for coming out and giving us so much needed information. Inshallah, as he said, he'll be around for a bit, so we'll close off with a dua, inshallah, and then just leave everyone to mingle and ask any questions they need. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. شكرا جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.